Hi, I am Alisa Tanveer from SkillCurve. In this video, you will learn how to create nodes and their relationships from the data loaded into the Neo4J desktop. As we have already discussed how to load data into Neo4j desktop, so we will start this video by assuming that you already know how to load data. But if you have any confusion, you can quickly take a look at the video of this series on how to import data in Neo4j. So let's start creating the nodes from the loaded data. For that, click on Open button, which is parallel to your DBMS name, to open the Neo4j browser. And once your Neo4j browser is open, this is the area where we want to write our CYPHER commands. We will start by loading the products.csv file into the graph, and for that I am going to use this CYPHER block. We will start by the load CSV statement to load the data from the products.csv file into the Neo4j, and then we will add the cipher to create the data from the CSV into the graph model. And then you will use the merge statement to check if the product already exists before you create it, and the properties will be set to the converted values that we handled here. Okay, let's execute the query. Upon executing the statement, it will return the number of product nodes that we created in the database. You can cross-check the number with the number of rows in the CSV file from the earlier. You can also run a validation query to return a sample of nodes and review that the properties look accurate. So in order to validate the nodes, we can use this cipher block. Here in the cipher block, we are using the match statement to match the products that we loaded in this P with the products that were present in the product.csv file. And if the two values match, then we are going to return it, and we are going to limit the number of returned rows to 20. So this means that if the products match, which means that our data is validated, then a total of 20 nodes will be created. Let's execute the query, and you will see that 20 nodes representing the product has been created. You can zoom in and zoom out, and once you hover upon each of the node, you can view different data about it, like its ID, the product ID, product name, and unit cost on the right hand side. So we have created the nodes for the products.csv file. Now we will create the nodes for the orders.csv file. And for that, we are going to use this particular cipher block. Here, once again, we'll start by the load CSV file to load orders.csv, and then we are going to perform the data conversion to convert the data type according to our needs. Then we are going to use the merge clause. The merge clause either matches the existing node patterns in the graph and binds them, or if they are not present, creates new data and binds that. In this way, it acts as a combination of match and create that allows for specific actions depending on whether the specified data was matched or created. So it means that if this data was already present, that it is going to merge the data with the existing node, and if it is not present, then it is going to create a new node for it, and then simply we're going to return the number of nodes that we created. Execute the query, and you will see that a total of 830 nodes have been created. Just like we verified the creation of node for the products.csv, we can do the same for orders.csv too. So in order to validate, we can use this query. Here once again we are going to match the orders that we get from the orders.csv file with the actual orders, and we are going to limit the number of return rows to 20. Okay, let's execute the query, and you will see that a total of 20 nodes for the orders.csv file representing the order time, order ID, and ship country for all the orders. You can zoom in to see the values for the order date, time, and country, etc. Now let's load the data from the order details.csv file and create its nodes. And to do so, we are going to use this cipher block. So you can see that this cipher block is a bit different from the other ones. It starts with auto, which means that, as you have already seen that we ran a count on the order details file in the previous video, there were a total of 2156 rows in the CSV file. Although this is not a huge number of file imports, but you will have Cypher to commit the data to the database to reduce the memory overhead of the transaction state. And for that, I have added the auto to automatically commit the data to the database to reduce the memory overhead. Then we will use the load CSV file to load the data from the order details.csv. Then we will perform the data conversions, and the next step is to create the relationship between the products and the orders. Since the products and the orders already exist in the graph that we created in the previous two queries, then you will simply start with the match statement to find the existing product and the order nodes. And then the merge statement for the order details will add the new relationship or match an existing one between the order details, orders, and products. Okay, so let's execute the query to see the number of created nodes. And you can see that a total of 2155 nodes have been created. Once again, we'll validate that the number of nodes have been created or not. And for that, we will use this cipher block. Here we are again using match, but we are matching in a different way because in the previous query we created a relationship between the orders and the products table. So this is what we are going to define in the match statement as well, which shows that we are matching the orders table which contains a relationship with the product table. So if any such relationship exists, then return the product, return its relation, and return the order and limit the number of nodes to 50. Okay, let's execute it. And you can see that a beautiful graph has been created for us. The purple nodes show the products, the orange node shows the orders, and the gray lines between them shows the relationship between the nodes. So if we try to read this graph, let's zoom in a bit. If we try to read this graph, we can see that this particular product was contained in this order, or in other words, since the arrow is moving from the order to the product, so we can say that this particular order contains the product chai. Similarly, for this order we can say that the order placed on this date contains the product chang. So this is how you can create a graph in Neo4j by loading a data into the Neo4j database. That is all for this video. Thank you.